am here to bring you my take on the Golden Globes look of Letitia Wright. Most of you will know her from Wakanda Forever and Black Panther, and the look I'm going to recreate is this one right here. Now, although it does seem like it's a fairly simple look, there are little intricacies that mean that I need to pay close attention as I try to recreate. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with her eyebrows. They're quite severely arched. They're a lot wider than mine, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of additional work to try to match what she's got going on there. So without further ado, let's get into it. First product I'm going to use is my 3-in-1 brow from PS by Primark. So first of all, I'm going to take it up, all the way up to the bend, and back again. Then I'm going to draw the shape, and like I said, her look is very angular, which mine wouldn't normally be, at least not that defined, so I've got to try to make sure I get that corner on there so it shows, hopefully, what I'm after. One thing that I want to do, I want to just try to define that arch a little bit. So I'm going to take a cotton bud and just go up in the middle of it right there. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to end up having to replace a lot of the eyebrows anyway, because as I'm doing makeup, as I'm doing things like sculpting the brows and using powders and stuff like that, it's going to reduce what is already on there anyway, so I'm going to have to keep replenishing as we go through, but just to make sure that I'm starting off with the right sort of right angle. No pun intended. Now, because I suffer from fibromyalgia, as well as both rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, it means that doing things like this cause me quite a bit of significant pain. So you'll have to forgive me the moments when I need to stop for a second and take a breath. I'm afraid that's just what I have to do. For me, because I'm left-handed, all my creatives stand up. Because I'm left-handed, it means that I'm having to stretch across to reach this side of my face. So it does take me a little bit longer to do things, and it means that I'm not as easily precise with things on this side as I am on the other. Now, it's not quite as angular as I would like on that side, but like I said, we're going to keep replenishing it, so by the end, it'll be okay. What I'm now doing, after using the pencil to define the shape, I'm now going in with coloured gel. I really love this Primark product because it has so many uses. You've got the pencil, you've got the coloured gel, you also have powder and a smudge pen in the middle, hence 3-in-1. And I just love it. I use it pretty much every time I do my makeup. So I'm going up with the gel to begin with, and And I'm going to take it across and down. Now, one thing I should stress straight away, so there is no confusion, I am not a makeup artist. I am someone who loves to do makeup. There's a difference. So, I don't always get it right. And sometimes I just can't get it to work. So, you know, it's a work in progress. Okay, now I'm going to just go in a bit more here. One of the fibromyalgia symptoms, I don't remember the name of it because it's one of those really weird long words that nobody can pronounce. It's a touch long on that side. It means that the wing side of my eyebrows do not grow. I don't know, it's a fibro symptom. I can't tell you the name of it, but it's a fact, I promise. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and use my Morphe, my Morphe Eyelid Primer. Now with this, a little bit goes a long way, and it is also slightly tinted. So I'm going to take my pad finger. I don't remember which makeup artist it was that that said that using the pad of your finger is the softest, it has the softest touch of all of our fingers, and apparently it's the most easy for us to use and manipulate when doing makeup. I did not know that. So since then I have, well, I always kind of did do this anyway, but since I saw that I was like, huh. So the reason I'm putting on an eyelid primer is to basically bring the colour of my eyelids to one flat shade. As most makeup artists will tell you, again, I'm not one of them, it's just me repeating information I've heard. One of the things I have heard is that, my mind's gone blank, thank you fibromyalgia. What was I talking about? I was talking about, okay, so listen, this is another fibro symptom. It's called brain fog or fibro fog. It's where you become very forgetful, or you can lose track of what you're saying, as I just did. You forget things, you get confused very easily, and your brain basically just turns to mush. So these are fibromyalgia symptoms that I live with daily. I'm telling you that so that you understand what I am dealing with as I try to do these things. Oh, they are there already. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is sculpt my brows. And to do that, I am going to use this Camouflage matte concealer from Primark's PS Pro range. It doesn't have a shade. It has no shade detail whatsoever. However, it looks like this. So I'm going to take this foundation brush. I call it a foundation brush. I'm not sure if it is an actual foundation brush, but I use it for this job basically. So I just dip in there and go along the line I've created. So I'm struggling with my range of movement at the moment, so I'm finding it hard to actually do this part because my nerves and muscles are a bit painful at the moment, particularly in my back on the right hand side. So I'm gonna have to kind of what do they call that again? Fiddle? No, that's not the right word. Just not be settled. I can't remember what the word is. You'll have to forgive me. Begins with an F, but I can't remember what it is. Fidgety. That's the word. Fidgety. I'm a bit fidgety this morning whilst I try to find my best mode of working to get the job done. So as I'm taking a break, I'll take this opportunity to show you how I've begun to sculpt my brows. And I've also taken it down into my eyelid on top of the primer, so you can see that it's starting to build a shape that stands out. This is the hard part. The reason it's hard is because with the pains I'm currently experiencing, it makes it difficult to raise my arm this high. I'm gonna have to go back to that side. I'll do this side for now, this is a bit easier. I think it's important to talk about the issues that I face as a result of fibromyalgia. Not for my benefit, well, not just for my benefit, but so that you understand what it is that a sufferer can go through. Because it's known as an invisible illness, a lot of people don't really put any stock in it because it's not something that you can see or feel or touch. But that doesn't make it any less painful, believe me. Okay. Now, because it's, see, I messed it up a bit. Because of the pain associated with reaching over to do this bit, I made a mistake in the brow there. I'm gonna have to go back and fill that in again. Okay, I think that's the best I'm gonna get it. It's not quite as angular as I would like, but I can keep coming back to that and trying to sculpt that a bit more as I move on. So the next thing to do now is, I'm going to do two things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out this area here under eyes because I have not had enough sleep the last few days, well, for quite some time really. And so I'm a bit puffy in the face and I've got my dark circles coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brighten this area and I'm going to bake, which is basically the process involved in trying to reduce your oil residue coming through your makeup for as long as possible. So I'm going to bake here, and then I'm also going to cover my adult acne right here. Again, that's caused by not just fibro but also by hormones, because I suffer from a couple of is it immuno? Basically the symptoms involve things like too much hormones in certain areas. So therefore, because I have very oily skin, and in addition to that, adult acne, it means I get a lot of spots. So there's quite a lot to cover. Usually it's this area. So I need to cover those, a little bit on my chin and a tiny bit up here. I'm also gonna try and cover the shadows under here as well. Even though we don't want to lighten under here too much, I still want to cover the blemishes that are on show. So without further ado, I'm going to go from the tear duct down to my nose, and from my outer eye down to the same spot. You also need to be careful not to have any blotches. It needs to all be one colour, because otherwise what will happen is when you come to bake, you're going to have those shadowy areas come through. So the idea with baking is that you leave it on for as long as possible to reduce the oily penetration that comes through. So what I tend to do is I leave these areas until last. After I've done everything else, then I will fill those in with my natural shades. I don't think I took out enough concealer. I'm gonna have to get some more. So for red carpet season, I'm going to be covering a number of events. I'm absolutely not doing all of them because that's way too many. The ones I've picked are more than enough. So I'm going to just stick with my personal favourites, some of the biggies, and that will be what I do for these features. This is going to be a 3-part feature, of which this belongs to part 1, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. I'm a bit gutted because I have actually already done this look, but I seem to have lost my footage, so I'm going to do them again, which I don't entirely mind because I didn't feel that I really got it the last time. I didn't feel like it was, I didn't like it, the final result. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to try and correct some of the mistakes that I felt that I did in the first go. And we'll see how we get on. So that's that with that concealer. And actually, I've just realised I didn't do something that I usually do, which is to use a different concealer to go straight underneath. I've never tried putting it on top before, but we can give it a go. So this is Maybelline Brightening Creamy Concealer in shade. So I've gone in on top of the concealer I've already laid out with this, which, as I said, that's not a usual occurrence for me, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Just, you know, what comes of mistakes and accidents is knowledge, so no problem. It still shows, as far as I can see, that it's the lighter area. So next, I'm gonna try out this new concealer that I bought from Primark. It's PS My Perfect Colour Concealer Stick. It's in a medium shade, and it looks like this. It's a bit lighter than I think I would like, but I'm going to try it. So I'm going to go over this to give it extra, just some extra light, really. It helps that when I build my coverage, it means that hopefully these areas won't be quite as obvious for, you know, my skin issues, let's call it that. Okay, so I'm gonna take a drink of water because my mouth is now dry. And my water bottle is very heavy, but at the same time, I have to drink a lot of water because I suffer from dry mouth, so. Okay. So, now that we've done that, put this brush away. Now that we've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is bake. So, I'm going to get, did I leave it there? No, I did not. I'm going to get my palette. Okay, so this is the palette I'm going to use, and I'm going to mix. I'm going to mix this Laura Mercier translucent powder, which looks like that. I'm going to mix some of that with Revolution banana powder, which I'm using the shade Banana Deep. And so I'm going to take some of that out. You don't need a lot. I put out way too much, but that's okay. You have to excuse the calamities happening in my household. Not quite sure what's going on, but that's fine. It means everybody's alive. Okay. Doesn't want to play with me. Okay, there we go. Now, what I need is a spatula. I thought I had everything ready before I started. Silly me. Right, well, it looks like I can't find the spatula. Oh, hang on, I spoke too soon. Ow. Okay, so we're going to take a scoop of the banana powder, the translucent powder out, like that. And I'm going to mix the two. The reason I'm doing this is because although I like the colour that the banana powder gives me, I find that the translucent powder has more staying power. So I'm going to mix the two of those. But I'm not just going to put it on straight like that. I'm going to use that pain is no joke. Oh gosh, okay, so I'm going to use a sponge, but I'm going to wet it because it helps to spread the product better, and it has just a nicer finish. So I'm going to take bits at a time, not too much. Start in the corner and work my way out. One of the cardinal rules of makeup that I learned some time ago is that whatever you do to one side of the face, you must do to the other, because otherwise you are going to end up, unless that's your choice, you're going to end up looking a little bit crazy. You don't want your face to look lopsided, again, unless that is your intention, because to each their own. So as someone who suffers from really oily skin, it's really necessary for me to get my coverage right. So I'm now doing it in the places that tend to shine. Okay, just got a tiny bit left. So I'm gonna make sure it goes here. Okay, so there's my baking. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my contouring. Now I will warn you in advance, when it comes to contouring I am absolutely terrible. It is not one of my strong points. I just got to do what I can. So I'm going to take this foundation brush that you see here, and I'm going to use Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in Deep Dark. So I'm going to go over here. My temples. My cheek area. Normally I would do a line all the way down here, but today I'm trying something a little different. So there we go, and then along my jawline. Now when it comes to the centre of my face, I just realised I didn't quite do that very well. When it comes to the centre of my face, I'm going to do this. I'm just basically going to follow like a tree root. And there we go. The reason I'm doing this is to make my lip protrude, my bottom lip protrude a bit more. So there we go. That is that. A bit messy on my nose, but you know. There we go. Roadmap or what? Eat your heart out. Hello again. So I had to take a little bit of a break because I was in a world of pain earlier, and it was doing me in a bit, so I had to take a little break. So anyway, back to it now, and I've touched up my contour just a little bit, and now it is time to blend. So I'm going to mix two foundations. I'm going to mix Revolution's Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Foundation. Yeah. And that's in shade 14.5. And I'm going to mix Primark's PS My Perfect Matte. No, PS My Perfect Colour Double Matte Foundation. And that's in shade Chai. So this is the Revolution foundation right there. Now I'm going to mix some of the Chai with it from PS My Perfect Colour. We've got a bit of a time limit here, so kind of like make it hurry up. Come on, come on. Sad news today. Shout out to Paul O'Grady's family. If you're a child of the 90s, well, technically I'm a child of the 80s, but it's like, yeah, it's more or less blended. So I always just, what better place can you wipe off your spatula, really? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a sponge, an egg sponge, wet it, because again, as I was saying earlier, the product spreads better the thinner it is. Don't go crazy with it, but yeah, it will work better the more that you have a wet sponge to use, basically. So starting up here and blending in from the forehead, going all the way up to the hairline. You'd be surprised how many people don't blend up to their hairline, and so you've got two completely different colours that are very evident. That's not how it's meant to be. I just dab my way through where I'm blending with the contour colour. I just dab my way through it, and sometimes it comes out well, sometimes it doesn't. It's potluck, really, isn't it? But as long as you still get the essence of the product's purpose, so you can see that there's a darker line there, but if you see, it's blended out. I'm not always good. In fact, I'm terrible at contouring, but I'm working on it. I'm practicing. What can I tell you? So, because I'm trying to sort of replicate her facial shape, we have completely different facial shapes, but trying to get a little closer towards hers means making sure that I try to make my jawline as angular as possible. Again, so you can have a look. So as you can see, her bone structure is very angular. She has, is that a heart-shaped face? I think you call it a heart-shaped face. So obviously it's wider up here on her forehead and slopes down to her chin. So she has a fairly flat nose. That's not an insult, by the way. I'm talking purely in terms of what I'm trying to do. I have quite a large nose. So I'm just trying to contour that down a bit and make it a little flatter. And then I should actually be going the other way with this because she's got very thin lips, whereas I have very full lips. So making my lips protrude is not actually the right thing up here, but what can I say? Out of habit. I might try and take it up a bit, see if I can make it a bit thinner that way. And what I mean by that is I'm taking in the sides. So instead of just sticking to this shape here, which is obviously going to make the middle of my lip protrude, I'm doing this way so that it will hopefully take this area back a little bit, if that makes sense. That's my way of thinking. I could be wrong. Anyway, so I always use the bottom for the blending of the contouring, and then I use the tip to blend the rest of it. So going from the tip now, I go down my nose and I try to go along the lines that I've sculpted for my brows. Blending that eye area. Okay, that's the nose done anyway. Then I'm going up in between the contour area and the jawline here so that there's some definition. That's why I go through there and make sure that there is a line so that you can see that hopefully well. I think that's everywhere. Just some added light up here, but not too far up. And there we go. So next thing is a setting powder. I'm going to use L'Oreal True Match. It's in shade, I should know this. Doesn't feel the need to be helpful with me, but if I remember correctly, it is. I don't remember correctly actually, so sorry, can't help you there. But hey, it looks like that. I realise that's not particularly helpful on the shop floor, but you know, hey, we all have our moments. I think it's like cappuccino or something like that, I forget. Anyway, I'm flicking off the excess because I don't want it to be too heavy in any of the areas that I powder, but I'm using this to set the foundation in place and basically just hold off the contouring. Remember if I said to you earlier, my eyebrows were going to disappear and I was going to need to touch them up throughout the whole process. So I'm going to need to do that after this. Now I know that I haven't filled in this under eye section yet, but I'm still going to use the powder to set that baking and all the other products in place. And and that's that. So this is part of what I call phase one, which is, in my mind, the setup. Phase two is when you go into eyeshadow and all that kind of stuff and you get the fun part, but this is the basics. So I'm going to use Revolution's Dynamic Face Palette in Midnight Sands. Looks like this, and like that. And what I do is I mix the blusher with that highlighter so that it gives a bit of a golden sheen. In her colour scheme, it's got a little bit of that kind of shade going on if you look at her cheeks. She's got very defined kind of light brown highlight. So I'm going to go in with both of these. Now, she is heaviest right on her cheekbone, so basically right here. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to put that away because sometimes I find that I need to define again at the end. So I'm going to leave that out for now. That's that, and then last but not least, she doesn't have much in the way of highlighter, but I'll try to go in with this Revolution Eye Bright Concealer. You probably can't read that, but there you go anyway. And the shade is light to medium, if I remember rightly, yep. So I'm taking a fan brush, dabbing inside like so, and then down the nose, Cupid's bow, forehead, and chin. The other place, I'm going to take my finger and use your pad finger again and dab in, because she has her inner tear ducts brightened as well. So that is that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with powder brush and I'm going to blend that in. And there, my friends, is how you find yourselves at the end of phase one. So what I'm going to do now to hold all of that in place is I'm going to use a setting spray. I am currently using Revolution Sport Fix Lasting Hold Fixing Spray, which looks like so. And I go over the whole face, ending in the middle. So that's that. The eye is not too defined in any of the pictures I've found online, so I'm going to go with what I think I see. Yeah, I'm going to do what I think I see. And I think I see some brown, some orange, Not too much in the way of golds, which is unusual for that colour scheme. But hey, it's all about being different, right? So let's see, I'm going to open my little pouch of products that I've pulled for this look. Now I've pulled 3 brushes to begin with. These are the 3 I'm going to use for my eyeshadow. And I'm going to use this. I swear I don't have shares in Revolution, but this is I Heart Revolution Nudes. I actually really love this because of the whole chocolate book thing. It's cool. So this is actually one of my favourite palettes for natural looks anyway. I have to hold it because it's broken. But there you go. That's what it looks like on the inside. So let's see, where are we going to start here? I'm going to keep trying to remind you so that you get an idea of what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay, so if we're looking at her eyes, it's not very bright. There's not a lot happening, but there is definition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here with an orangey brown right there, and then I'm going to use for the eye contour, that's what I'm going to go in with a darker brown. As you notice up here, there would normally be a gold. There isn't a gold, so I'm not going to do much to that right now. In fact, I know I've forgotten something else when I was using my highlighter. I didn't do my brow bones, but in actual fact that's not too bad because, like I said, there's not too much definition here, so I'm not going to do that. But let's get it popping with some orange and brown. So to create her base look, I'm going to go in with, I think I'm going to go in with, what is this called? Undressed, right here. So I'm going to take this particular blending brush and I'm going to go in with a little bit of Undressed. Which to me has the same effect as the eyeshadow primer in that it is kind of it's equalizing that area. I'm going to go underneath as well because I've noticed that she's got some definition under the eyes too. That's quite prominent. So I'm going to take that over. Equal. Might just give a touch more on this side. Yep. Okay, so next thing I see is a touch of brown smoke. So I'm going to take I'm actually going to go with this brush right here. And I'm going to go in a bit darker with, well, I'll keep the theme going. I'm going to use this one right here, which is called In the Sheets. Well, they call it nudes for nothing. So this brush is going to give me a more pointed finish than the last one would. The last one is designed to blow away as much as it is to spread. This one is more about focused colour. So I'm going in here in the inner V and I'm going to take it round It's not exactly, well, I don't think it's cut crease at all, but that could be just because I'm not a makeup artist. And I'm going to use it to the line as well. And I'm going to take it out just a far bit out the side there. Right here. But I don't want to go too heavy with it because hers is very natural looking. So it can't be too defined. And then I'm going to do under the eye as well. Okay. I'm going to touch that up a little more. Okay, so yeah, I think we're on the right road. Okay. Now, what I see a very faint touch of, if we go, I know I was saying before that there's not much in the way of gold there, but if you look very closely on her eyelid, there is a touch of shine there. It's just not very bright shine. So what I'm going to do is, instead of a gold to define that, I'm going to go with more of kind of like a peachy glow. So I've got this brush, which is probably not the best choice. I think I've just swapped them around and used them the wrong way, but hey, we live and we learn. So I'm going to go use it anyway, and I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is called Candlelit. So I'm going to take a touch of that, and I'm going to dab it in right here at the inner crease. And I'm just going to go into the inner tear duct with it as well. So I'm very upset that that happened. I even used to watch his talk show. Like, I loved his talk show. It was brilliant. So there we go. That's the new shade that we have here. You know what I mean. So I'm going to try to do this on camera, and we will see. Because I'm really not very good at this. I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning how. And I have done many a tutorial from YTU, aka YouTube University. And so I'm just putting off glue from where it originally stuck. You know where they stick the lash down? It never ceases to amaze me how much glue they have on there that does not go anywhere near your eyeball. How do they have so much glue on there to stick it down to the plastic and it won't stick to your eye? What goes on mine? So I'm going to use this clear white adhesive. It doesn't say what company it's from. I have no idea, but yeah, I know it's a bit messy. That's the name of the game today. It's been a bit of a messy household. What can I say? We have our days. We've got all the way down. Whoops. So I'm putting it. This may not be the right way to do this, but it's my Hail Mary way, which is to put it on top and bottom of the lash, because I have not found any other means of getting it to work if I don't. If it was black adhesive, I would also be doing an eyeliner with it, because again, I haven't found any other way of making it work. Okay, so another trick I learned from with a YTU. 13 seconds. I don't know why it's 13, even the lady whose idea it was didn't know why she said 13, but she said 13. So I'll use the mirror for this bronzer. Oops, don't be careful. Because I went and got it stuck in the middle, that is, I went and got glue in the middle, so it's now sticking to the tweezers. Sticking everywhere except my eyelid, naturally. Let's try this again. If my lashes aren't going to continue to be glued together. Sticky business. Oh no, that was a really sad pun. My own lashes are already sticking together. Okay, I'm going to try it now. Okay, they seem to be on for now. Not the best method. I did tell you I'm not makeup artist, right? I'm terrible at this. I'm going to stick my eyelashes together with this, right? Right, well, I'm trying to clean the glue off of my tweezers, but of course it's not coming off. Technical difficulties. But only I managed to mess up. Let's try the other one, shall we? Okay. See, did the same thing right again. Okay. We're going to try it a little differently. Yeah, out with the root. I'm going to get it all over my fingers and have to make it useful, right? Whether that's actually going to work, I don't know, but we'll see. So, sorry, I'm doing all this off shoulder, off camera. What can I say? As I suspected, one time when I do it whilst recording, it's not sticking. Either that or it's sticking a little too well. Oh, and well. What can I tell you? Alright, so the lashes are holding for the moment. So the next job is so I'm just going to do a thin line along the outer. And actually, normally I would leave the front bit open because I'm trying to protrude my lip, but because I'm trying to make it smaller in this case, I'm going to go in and line it. And like I said, to me the whole top lip looks brown, so I'm going in with that. And then what I'm going to to do is I'm going to try out this ELF Ride or Die Lip Balm in Boss Berry. I've never used this before, so this is going to be a revelation to you and me. So, just taking a tiny bit out. I've come out a little browner than I would like. So what I'm going to do, just to try to lighten that up a little bit, because otherwise I think we're on the right track, I think. So I'm going to go in with this Revlon, I forget what these are called now, Colour Bursts lip glosses in number 6, Strawberry Fair, I think that says. I think it says Strawberry Fair, just goes to show how bad my eyesight is. But I'm going to go in just to add the pink element. So we do have that, but I still think the bottom lip is a bit too dark. So I'm going to go in with a touch of Revolution's Matte Bomb in Fancy Pink. I'm going to touch just in the middle, like so, and then I'm going to spread it, and that gives me back the pink I was looking for. I think the only issue is that I lost my line a bit. Okay, I think we're good. So that's that. Now it's time to sort the hair out, and I'll be back for images. Thanks for taking this time to sit with me. I hope it works for you, and I hope I managed to recreate the look in your opinion. See you next time. This bit I'm a little bit kind of unsure of, for the simple fact that I haven't been able to recreate the right lip colour as far as what she has, and I'm going to show you in 1 second. For me, I'm seeing a brown top lip, brown lip line, and a pink bottom lip. So I have a couple of products I'm going to use to try and recreate that. Right. So, if you look here, like I said, a brown top lip, brown lip line, and then a pink bottom lip. So, let's try that. in order to create that. Okay, so next I'm going to curl my eyelashes. Because I'm going to attach the false lash, and it gets a bit difficult when you, well, I slot them behind my actual own lashes, which I'm assuming is what you're supposed to do. I've never heard any different. And it can be a bit difficult to if when you're trying to fit that lash, if your own lash goes too far forward, it can give like stick in your eye and stuff like that. So I'm just curling mine before I get started on there. Now I'm going to go in with this brown eyeliner, which is MAC times Mariah Carey. There you go. And the shade is called, I cannot read that at all. Yeah, oh, it's called This Is My Night. I was about to give up and say my eyes cannot read this. I was about to fish out my glasses, but no, I got there in the end. It's called This Is My Night. And it's a dark brown. So I'm going to bring it just out here to the corner, the outer corner of my eye area. To be honest, I feel like that's a little dark compared to what we've seen. She does have a brown line on, but it's not as dark as this, but because I've done it to one, I have to do it to the other. So I'm gonna add it on. But I'm gonna let it, give it a chance to dry, and then I'm gonna go over it with some powder to lighten it up a bit, because it's too defined now. And also one's bigger than the other one. That's a typical thing that happens. To me anyway. You're probably wondering if it's too dark. Why has she gone in and done that? I've done it to try to even up the liner, because as I said, what you do to one you need to do to the other. So yeah, basically that's what's going on here. So I'll just put that away. Right, so I'm gonna use, I'm actually gonna use the eyeshadow brush to just go over it. Okay, got some excess brown on there, so I'm gonna whack that off. Apparently the liner is still wet. Okay, no biggie. So I'm just going to, oh there it is. I'm going to go back in with the palette to try and lighten that up. I just want to make the definition softer. worked more or less on this eye. See, as usual, I made a mistake. Oh, what are you going to do with me, eh? Get rid of that smudge. Now, unfortunately, because this is so old, because I started this morning, we're now like after 5 in the evening. So it's caked a bit, particularly where I didn't finish off yet. So the areas where I've baked is just cake now, which I guess when you think about it is what you bake for in the first place. Is it yummy? Depends on the outlook. Yeah, that's softer. Now, as much as I say that what you do to one side you should do to the other, I should actually admit that I absolutely positively am terrible at matching. Yeah, what I do to one side does not often turn out on the other side at all. So what can I tell you? I tries. So I think that's it for the eyeshadow. I think. I'll just bring in that shine again. Because it's quite defined in the tear ducts. So basically right here. That's very defined, so I need to make sure that I have that in my version. So I'll just touch up with a little bit. And if you remember, that's why I also began adding it with the highlighter. So there we go. Yep. Okay. So that's that. So next thing is we're gonna go in for, in fact, the next thing is I'm gonna do my bronzer. She does not have that much in the way of shine, but in certain areas her skin tone is quite warm. So I want to make sure that I go in and do the same using this Revolution Glow Splendid Ultra Matte Bronzer in medium. So it looks like that. And that's the shade right there. So going back to my powder brush, same old powder brush, mix and match one up. And one thing that I want to do as well is just put a little bit more colour back in my cheek. Oops. And then blend that in with the bronzer. I almost forgot. In fact, I didn't almost forget, I did completely forget about my lashes. Whoopsie. So I'm going to go with this 3D Allure palette from Primark. Palette? Pear. You know what I mean. So I'm going to try to do this on camera and we will see, because I'm really not very good with lashes. I'm still a newbie, I'm still learning how, and I have done many a tutorial from YTU, aka YouTube University. And so I'm just pulling off glue from where it originally stuck. You know where they stick the lash down? It never ceases to amaze me how much glue they have on there that does not go anywhere near your eyeball. How do they have so much glue on there that to stick it down to the plastic that it won't stick to your eye? Boggles the mind. So I'm going to use this clear white adhesive. It doesn't say what company it's from. I have no idea, but yeah, I know it's a bit messy. That's the name of the game today. It's been a bit of a messy household. What can I say? We have our days. Ah, glue's got all the way down. Whoops. So I'm putting it. This may not be the right way to do this, but it's my Hail Mary way, which is to put it on the top and bottom of the lash, because I have not found any other means of getting it to work if I don't. If it was black adhesive, I would also be doing an eyeliner with it, because again, haven't found any other way of making it work. Okay, so another trick I learned from good old YTU. "13 seconds. I don't know why it's 13. Even the lady whose idea it was didn't know why she said 13, but she said 13. So I'll use the mirror from this bronzer. Here, you know what I mean. So I'm going to try to do this on camera and we will see, because I'm really not very good with lashes. I'm still a newbie, I'm still learning how, and I have done many a tutorial from YTU, aka YouTube University. And so I'm just putting off glue from where it originally stuck. You know where they stick the lash down? It never ceases to amaze me how much glue they have on there that does not go anywhere near your eyeball. How do they have so much glue on there to stick it down to the plastic that it won't stick to your eye? Boggles the mind. So I'm going to use this clear white adhesive. It doesn't say what company it's from. I have no idea, but yeah, I know it's a bit messy. That's the name of the game today. It's been a bit of a messy household. What can I say? We have our days. We've got all the way down. Whoops. So I'm putting it. This may not be the right way to do this, but it's my Hail Mary way, which is to put it on top and bottom of the lash, because I have not found any other means of getting it to work if I don't. If it was black adhesive, I would also be doing an eyeliner with it, because again, I haven't found any other way of making it work. Okay, so another trick I learned from Widow YTU. 13 seconds. I don't know why it's 13, even the lady who whose idea it was didn't know why she said 13, but she said 13. So I'll use the mirror for this bronzer. Oops, don't be careful. Because I went and got it stuck in the middle, that is, I went and got glue in the middle, so it's now sticking to the tweezers. Sticking everywhere except my eyelid, naturally. Let's try this again. Make my eyelashes on, then I continue to be sewn together. Sticky business. Oh no, that was a really sad pun. My own lashes are already sticky together. Okay, I'm going to try it now. Okay, they seem to be on for now. Not the best method. I did tell you I'm not a makeup artist, right? I'm terrible at this. I'm going to stick my eyelashes together into it. Right, well, I'm trying to clean the glue off of my tweezers, but of course it's not coming off. Technical difficulties. But only I managed to mess up. Let's try the other one, shall we? Okay. Oops, it did the same thing right again. Okay. We're going to try it a little differently. Yeah, out with the root. I'm going to get it all over my fingers. I might have to make it useful, right? Whether that's actually going to work, I don't know, but we'll see. So, sorry, I'm doing all this off shoulder, off camera. What can I say? As I suspected, one time when I do it whilst recording, it's not sticking. Either that or it's sticking a little too well. Oh, and well. What can I tell you? Alright, so the lashes are holding for the moment. So the next job is